Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Blessings on a new week. Hope your week will be prosperous. Please be safe. Be aware of your faculties. And if you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. 6 weeks ago today, friends of Nancy Guthrie were concerned about her safety. Had not heard from her. She did not attend their church gathering. And she's still missing. No viable information or arrests pertaining to her disappearance. During this live stream, we will chop up the who, the why, and where this lady is. Is she alive? Is she deceased? Everyone has a theory. Some are more wild than others. But sadly, Nancy Guthrie is still gone. News Nation uploaded content 2 days ago, and we're going to chop up that said information. This is Brian N.
In the search for Nancy Guthrie, investigators have reportedly uncovered more images from her home camera captured before her disappearance. And tonight as well, the sheriff is raising real concerns that the kidnapper could potentially strike again, as forensic scientists believe DNA now could hold the keys to this case. Our Brian Henson back for us once again. Tucson, Arizona tonight with the very latest. Brian?
Yeah, hey Blake, it's day 41, if you can believe it, in the search for Nancy Guthrie. I'm still outside Nancy's house here, and there's been quite a few developments over the last 24 hours. You mentioned it. First of all, reports that the FBI now has images from other cameras on Nancy Guthrie's property. Remember, we first only saw the images in the video from the Google Nest camera right on Nancy's front door. We were wondering, because we knew there were other cameras, one on the side, one in the back near the pool, and we are learning now that the FBI was able to obtain images from those other cameras, but here's the catch. It's not video, it's actually only thumbnail images. So every time motion was detected, apparently a thumbnail image was created, and that's what the FBI has. They don't have the full images or the videos, just the little thumbnails. And we are told that anything around the time frame of when Nancy was abducted is missing, is not there, which is kind of interesting to think about why that time frame is missing. You know, there's been these questions about, was there like a signal blocker used? Some other neighbors reported internet outage, and apparently her cameras also did not have any images or video right from that time frame when she disappeared. Blake,
It's not video. Seems like from a past era. Do we know if the image?
Hello, everybody in the chats. Hello. Hello, Sophie. Hello, T. Conky. No perspective. Make it make sense. Other people saying they had outage, no footage as well. No storm, no tornado, no hurricane, no earthquake. Make it make sense. Days before you have footage or thumbnails, but you don't have anything around the time that she went missing. Make it make sense, except for showing Joe Blow standing there playing around with the Nest cameras. Or is this what the FBI wants us to think? I don't know. The link will be put in the chat if somebody would like to come up and join the Queen pertaining to the said information that has been relayed to us in this live stream. We are chopping up the who and the why and where this woman is. I'm going to bring you something I was listening to on someone else's network that was basically, BS, just some clickbait, SHIT, but it could be relevant. They didn't really get to the point of what people thought the title was about, but people do that, to get the clicks and the views. But I'm going to bring you a theory that I have mentioned on this network, and I'm going to revise it during this live stream. Thank you for joining me.
Images are clean or clear.
No, and they're just thumbnails, and you know how small thumbnails can be. So, and it apparently doesn't help much because it doesn't have the time around when she was abducted. They do show some people from previous days, which could be helpful. They can go back and look and see who those people are. In fact, they even apparently show the showed up on scene. So
Sorry
maybe
about
there'll
that.
be some helpful things there, but the fact that it doesn't show anything from right when she was taken is obviously not a good thing.
And Brian, what can you tell me about the DNA?
Yeah, so we're still waiting. The big question here is the DNA inside the house, whether they're going to be able to use it. We know that it was mixed. I actually went to a DNA lab at Arizona State University. It was fascinating learning about how this process worked. And the forensics professor there zeroed in on something that I hadn't thought about. The fact, the suspect had the ski cap on, the balaclava, but the mouth was still uncovered, which is a big deal because that means spit was coming out, which is very, very important for finding DNA. Listen to what she said to me, Blake. On the nose, is that a very good thing?
It is a good thing, but knowing where he was at inside the home would be very difficult.
So just because he was in there breathing and spit was coming out,
we wouldn't
that
know.
doesn't tell us much about. They can't check the whole house.
They can look, but unless he spit a lot, they're not going to see a large quantity, and it's not going to fluoresce.
So it's kind of interesting. The saliva, apparently it's important if there's a large quantity, but just in terms of breathing and a little bit of spit coming out, she was explaining to me that is not always that helpful. But she was hopeful overall about the DNA. Science is improving every single day, and she's hopeful that they will be able to do the genetic genealogy, and that may end up breaking the case open, Blake.
Brian Ensign, live for us, Tucson, Arizona. Brian, thank you. And thank you for watching. Subscribe.
What's really going on with the thumbnails and the videos? Make it make sense. Hold on 1 second, everybody. The link is in the chat. Hit that link, bring your cell phone up. You can leave your camera on or camera off to give your opinion pertaining to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. So we have some weird SHIT going on with this camera business. Are we talking about a crafty kidnapper? You took something, some type of blocker to block other people's Wi-Fi, tamper with the alarm system or camera system. I don't know what to think. But I think it's weird that other neighbors are saying they had issues. So how far does this blocker go if we're to believe this is what happened? The kidnapper took a blocker, then what is the proximity of the neighbors who say they had an outage issue around the time that Nancy allegedly went missing, taking abducted from her home? Make it make sense. I'm assuming he took the Nest cameras, one in the front, one in the back. I have not heard from the cameras in the front of the house that's on the roof, and also, was there another camera on the back guest house building, pool house building? What do you have, law enforcement? But the one thing you must remember is that they could have other footage that they won't release because Nancy Guthrie is in that footage, and it would not be proper to show her being abducted by the perpetrator. They're not going to show that. Let me revise a theory. Let's say this is homegrown. Somebody in the immediate family wanted to get rid of mother. Somebody said, I'm tired of dealing with her, fooling with her, don't want to be obligated with her. That would leave the only person that would be Annie, since she's the one, allegedly the only one contending or living there in the general area. Let's say hypothetical, Annie was tired of dealing with mother. Her and her husband said they were tired, one or the other. They come up with this plan to get rid of Nancy. They assume that as time goes by, the sister, Savannah, and the brother will go along with dividing up the estate because she has not arisen to show herself. Was this the plan? Was this the plan, Annie? Tommaso, was this the plan? You were tired of being obligated. I'm still trying to figure out this adult protective services nonsense. And some people want to say it has something to do with the lady calling who she was supposed to meet for church. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I call adult protective services? Call them. First of all, it's a Sunday. You're not going to reach anybody. Not to my knowledge. Because it's through the state. State offices are closed on Sunday. Checkmate. You call who you call, which would be Annie, because she's the go-to girl. And one thing we've learned about certain people don't have the temperament to be the go-to girl, the go-to guy. Just speaking hypothetical, don't take any of this personal. But there are people who are tired of being the go-to person. Could be you sitting here listening to this live stream. You're the go-to guy, girl. Everybody calls you when they need something. When their foot hurts, their back hurts, they broke the wrist, they need a ride. They need a ride to the airport. They need to be picked up from the airport. They need a ride to the grocery store. They need to go to the doctor. They call you, but you are tired of being the go-to person. And you don't know how to tell them. You don't want to be obligated. Military for them. So you have to plan. Let's find a way to get rid of this old lady. I don't really obligate. Yes, she's my mother, but I don't have a connection to her. See, sometimes what you think is going on ain't going on. Because I keep trying to tell you, you don't know people. When you look at true crime is self-evident of what is, not what you think, not what you assume, not what you thought you knew. It is what it is. And a lot of people cannot accept what is. I notice it all the time when I look at the comments, under the videos, under the commentary, under the articles. A lot of you live in a bubble. Maybe it's the way you were raised. I don't know. But see, I come from the streets. I come from a major city. Although I didn't play in the streets, I didn't get street really savvy until I became a grown-up living here in Tennessee. Don't ask. The point I'm trying to make to you is everybody ain't raised the same. Everybody don't have the same experiences. A lot of people can't accept what is. Can't accept who your friend, your husband, your lover, your sister became. Because the point is, people change. Oh, he was such a cute little boy. He was such a beautiful baby. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's so volatile. He curses, he's angry, he's always throwing stuff because he's got some internal shit going on. I'd be damned. Are you serious? As soon as you come in talking about the internet, my device is acting up. Don't bring that devilment over here, girl, Jersey girl. Come on now. People are an illusion. You don't know people. You don't know their inner thoughts. This could be personal pertaining to Nancy. This could be some people who were dealing with her and were tired of dealing with her. They thought she had funds. They knew of her having funds, and they wanted a piece of the pie. Now, this network I was listening to, don't know if they're legitimate, don't know what they're saying is real, but allegedly, Tommaso, 8 months beforehand, gave power of attorney to his wife. Some of you heard it and you thought it was Nancy giving it to him. Nancy wouldn't give her son-in-law power of attorney. That wouldn't make any sense. That would be ass backwards. Don't you think? You got 3 living children. Keep trying to tell you, quit repeating shit you don't know what you're talking about. Stop repeating stuff. Now, is this true? Annie, did you get power of attorney by your husband? He was turning everything over to you. But see, what I have to ask is myself, how long have you two been married and why would he be doing it now? Then they also say in that commentary on this YouTube channel, don't know if it's true, this is when there was a spike in the search pertaining to Savannah Guthrie. I don't know if those two have anything to do with each other. Don't know. Just throwing it out there. Then we have somebody who worked for the lady and they feel scorned, they feel slighted, you know, spited. I'm not using the correct English. Maybe they expected more money, didn't get paid on time. She didn't like their services, so she let them go. That's number 2. Number 3 is a sexual sadist roaming Tucson or the general area, looking for a victim, any victim, doesn't matter, 84, 24. I just want to take the kitty cat without permission. Or somebody's into older ladies, robbing old ladies of their jewel box. My. But the robbery, botched robbery, nah. You are gonna have to quit running with that, because that ain't panning out. I always tell people, pay attention to the information. Put aside what you think and pay attention to the information. The suspect is standing at a Nest camera with a full backpack, as if he's already been Easter egg hunting. Come on with it. So who goes to somebody's house to rob them and their backpack is already full? I'm woke. Sounds like a kill kit to me, or shall I say a peer. He had a kill kit. In that kit, in that backpack is everything I need to subdue this person and get rid of her, wrap her up and take her out and dump her. And that sounds awfully personal. But the one thing we've learned about crime is that it doesn't have to make any sense to you as the listener. And that's what a lot of us are doing. You're trying to make sense out of nonsense. You can't make sense out of devilment. Come on now. It's no such thing. It's not supposed to make sense because it's wrongdoing. This person knows what he did is wrong. No matter the motive, no matter who's involved, no matter the orchestrator, it was wrong. It is wrong. I don't care if this lady said something out of the way to somebody at the Piggly Wiggly. She was in her SUV. She cut somebody off in traffic. She didn't pay the gardener on time, didn't pay him at all. The point is, there are ways of handling situations. We don't break into people's houses and beat them up and kidnap them. Checkmate. So what are the options pertaining to this lady's disappearance 6 weeks in today? And the fact that we have people now saying, oh, there was something wrong with my internet that night. I remember. So that means we had some late bloomers up Saturday night into Sunday who didn't have any Wi-Fi. My. Like I said, what is the distance and the proximity of those who didn't have Wi-Fi working? Number 1, how many people are we talking about? 2, 3, 4, 5. Unless there's only 10 houses on the street or such and such, don't know, ain't out there. Have no idea. Just going by what other people are saying. Hello, princess. Now, next subject matter. For you creepy crawlers who are stalking these people's houses, such as Annie's and Nancy, it's time to give it up. 6 weeks in, no arrests, no new information. Please leave these people alone. Stop bothering these houses. Stop stalking. Stop hanging around. Stop looking. I was listening to some information off of somebody else's channel, and I happened to comment. And I really don't like going on other people's channels commenting just because I don't like problems. But I did put a comment down on a certain person's channel today, basically saying, give it a rest. What the fuck are you looking for over at Annie's and Tommaso's? What are you looking for? They haven't been arrested, so why are you out there filming? For what? And Tommaso came out. And what did you tell him, sir? Oh, I'm just filming the road. You all gonna fuck around and find out. You see, I grew up at a time where people actually had some form of manners. I grew up in the 70s. I grew up in the inner city. And we navigated different than people in other parts of America. I grew up at a time and a place where you only spoke when spoken to. You rode on public transportation, you did not give eye contact. In the middle of the night, you walked in the middle of the street, as in case somebody decides to attack you, they'll be attacking you in the middle of the street, not on the sidewalk. And I also grew up at a time when you knew to stay in your fucking lane. Something some of you don't know. Because we have gotten a little too beside ourselves with this social media bullshit and a camera and a phone, and we feel like we can stand outside and take pictures of people's houses and film and go live. You should know it's not going to always be appreciated by neighbors, people who live in the complex you're filming, the house you're filming, the neighbors of the street. It's just the way it is. And when we're doing self-serving bullshit, we can't understand, right? Exactly. It's my way or the highway. But see, as I keep trying to tell you, you can fuck around and find out the hard way. So I'm going to say this to Mark, whoever the fuck you are out there filming in front of Tommaso and Annie's house. Get the fuck on. Leave them folks alone. They have not been arrested. They have not been implicated publicly by the sheriff or the FBI. Leave them alone. Now, when you get some information to something else pertaining to Annie and Tommaso, pertaining to this case, then you can carry your ass over there and film all damn day. But it's 6 weeks later. Let it go. Move on. Everybody else is packed up their little suitcases and cameras and got on because they have real jobs at real news stations. You don't have a real job. You are just a blogger, TikToker. Yeah, I'm saying it. This is not a real job, sitting up in front of a camera, talking to people about true crime and how to decorate a fucking house in a room. It is just a hobby, something to do that brings in a little bit of extra cash if you have the viewers and the donations. Checkmate. I keep it real. There's no point in standing outside of their house. Some of you may agree, disagree. I don't care. Because you're not in their shoes. I don't have to know these people. I don't have to like them. It's principle. There comes a point when you have to leave well enough alone. It's time to get on. You're curious, you want to know about the car? Go down to the impound lot and ask. See, you people are lazy. You want to be out there fucking around in front of these people's houses, but you're not willing to do the true grit work it takes to be a real blogger and TikToker. See, this is why I keep trying to tell you, some of you ain't really cut out for this. See, I'm that type too. I ain't trying to run around here chasing people around because I'm not trying to get my fucking neck cut. I have to live in the town that I live in. And as I keep trying to tell you, you can't be found. You want to know about Annie's car, all you got to do is go down to the impound lot and stand your ass down there and walk around and see if you see your fucking car. How hard is that? Instead of sitting outside of their fucking house, get your lazy ass up and go drive down to the impound lot. Where's the confusion? Oh, please don't think I'm being rude today. I know it's a Sunday. I'm just giving you the business. There's a time and a place for everything. And some of you YouTubers are aiding these fools out there who are doing absolutely nothing but standing outside with a phone about to catch on fire in front of Annie's and Nancy's house. Oh, my phone's overheating. Hell yeah, it's overheating. It's fucking 80 degrees outside. What you think? Your ass wouldn't be out there if it was summertime. Your phone would have exploded. Oh my God, my phone's melting. Uh-huh. Because you need to get your ass in business. Just remember, as I keep trying to tell you all, you can be a content creator trying to bring people information pertaining to the subject matter, but you still need to be careful when you are out in public filming It's just the way it is. There's always people who don't mind fucking with you while you're out there, because you know what they're saying to themselves? You're out here fucking off, trying to repeat something, so people will fuck with you when you're out in public. It's just the way it is. What are you doing? What you filming? Why you here? Who you know? And then you're like, oh, none of your business. Oh, I'm just da, 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 da. Next thing you know, you're laying face down on the pavement over absolutely nothing. And what you gonna say? Oh, I have free speech. Well, somebody disagreed. It's just the way it is. But it's time to give it a rest pertaining to Annie and Tommaso and standing outside their house. There's nothing to see. What is there to see? As I said, you want to know about the car? Go to the impound lot. Stand in front of Nancy's house. Savannah is in New York, from my understanding. The brother is on the East Coast, so what's the purpose of still standing out there looking for what? What are you looking for? What are you trying to see? Nothing. And I've been thinking about that. Who's getting ready to watch this house? Because as I said, there's only one Mohican left on the playground to watch the house, and that would be Annie. Does she want to be responsible for the house? What is the arrangement between the siblings pertaining to the house? See, this is when you'll start getting into the nitty-gritty of how and why Nancy is gone. Because now we have a whole house that needs to be monitored because nobody's living there. Come on with it, Queens. Somebody ain't woke. Somebody's got to be responsible for this house. Somebody's got to pay the water and the light bill. Somebody's got to keep the grounds maintained. Somebody's got to keep the pool clear. Did you put a cover over the pool? Nobody's swimming. Or is it somebody who's wanting to stay at the house and maintain? Annie, would that be you? Would that be you? Hot damn. Was that the plan all along? Get rid of mommy and I will be the one left to take care of the house. Maybe even get the house all to myself. I'm struggling, barely living, don't make a lot of money. I'm the one here. Just give me the house. Was that the plan, Annie? I'm just asking. I don't mean to offend you. I'm checking all boxes. Was that the plan all along? Get rid of mother, and the brother and sister will feel sorry for me and give me the house and the car. And now I'll have a whole house paid for. All I got to do is pay the water, lights, and gas and the taxes every year. Or some deranged person walking around like little old ladies. As I said, they need to be looking for also a robber / sadist / drug addict. And if indeed this was a ransom, it didn't go very well now, did it? You didn't plan this out thoroughly. See, we don't know where to look. Who's involved? This lady's been missing 6 weeks and we don't have one damn arrest, nothing. Just everybody wondering about styrofoam cups and book bags and Wi-Fi on, off. Ain't nothing leading to nothing. Oh, but somebody knows something. And I'm just trying to understand why $1 million, somebody ain't giving up the goods. Because I know somebody is in need of something. And you can best believe if it was Queen, oh, I can think of a lot of goodies I can get with 1.25, or as they would say, $600,000 with the taxes taken out. Hell yeah, I'm going to the dealer and getting a brand new car, and I'm getting ready to go buy me a house paid in full. Shut your mouth. Soon as they cut me mine, I'm not going to owe nobody nothing. Listen to what Queen is saying to you. Oh, I'm not gonna be like the other people to get the little lump sum of money and they own every time Dick and Harry they broke. Oh, not Queen, because I'm good at saving coins. I'll be damned. You seen Queen? Queen got a new house and a new car. Well, what happened? Damn, Queen hit the lottery. Mm-hmm. Sure did. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna walk around here and carry no burden of knowing that an 84-year-old woman was kidnapped and murdered. There's no way I'd hold that secret. You'd have to be an utter fool to carry that secret. But we have sick people like that. They're just as sick as the perpetrator. Some say it's loyalty, some say it's fear. Take your pick. But somebody knows about Nancy Guthrie. They know what happened to her. They know where she is, or they at least know what happened to her. And they're not even willing to go to the authorities and tell what they know, all because they want to be in the throes of a knucklehead. But you're dealing with somebody very dangerous. So that's why I keep trying to tell everybody the motive at some point becomes irrelevant. This lady is missing, and more than likely she is not alive, and it would be by the hands of this perpetrator. You better stay woke. We're dealing with a very diabolical individual. So I'm not getting ready to uphold you. I'm not getting ready to continue sleeping with you, talking to you, being your friend. It's a wrap. I don't give a damn what I feel for you. But we have a lot of weak-minded people. They're willing to ride the ride into the abyss with a motherfucking fool. Not I. So who is our perpetrator? Who is the perpetrator, and why did this person go into Nancy Guthrie's house? Now, on the flip side, in a sick way, I could assume she orchestrated this, but then I could say, well, why would she want to hurt herself and bleed? She's an elderly person. She's a heart problem. She wouldn't want to have blood coming from her body. That would be stupid, but some people mention that. Maybe the old lady did it. Maybe she set this up. But the first thing I said was, well, because she wouldn't want anybody cutting on her, making her bleed. It won't make any sense. So you have to scratch that theory. So that leaves a sadist, robber, or person. And if it's personal, you have to say, damn, that's deep. How can you hate a little old lady? Oh, I can think of a lot of people that would hate an old lady. Because the thing is, everybody has a story to tell, do they not? You heard the stories. Dr. Phil, Steve Wilkos, Oprah Winfrey. Everybody is not what you think. They're not who you think they are. And I'm not here to say anything bad about Nancy Guthrie. The point I'm trying to make is that you don't know people. You don't know their relationships. You don't know how they deal with people, how they navigate. Maybe somebody was expecting something from this lady. She didn't come through on her end. I don't know. Somebody wanted more than Mrs. Nancy was wanting to give. I need the money. I need the money. Come on. You got it. Give it to me. No, I'm not giving you any money. I'm not giving you any more money. Stop bothering me. 84 years old. Stop bothering me. Oh, come on. You're not going to miss it. Is this American greed? Somebody felt like the old lady had it made and they wanted a piece of the pie. I gotta have what you got, old lady. I deserve to live like how you living. You ain't wanting for nothing. You ain't wanting for shit. You got everything. You got a house, you got a swimming pool, you got a guest house. You ain't hurting for nothing. You got people like that feel like, oh, these people are self-entitled. They're living well. They don't know what it's like to hurt. They don't know what it's like to be without. I just want a piece of the pie. And you know the sick part of the story, or shall I say this theory, is that you have people like this who don't want you to achieve. They don't want you to have anything. You hear the comments, oh, they're rich. They think they're better than everybody. I've seen rich, and that ain't Nancy Guthrie. I'm going to say it. I'm not saying she ain't got no coins in the bank, because older people, like to save a little bit. But I've seen wealthy, and that ain't Nancy Guthrie. When I think of wealthy, I'm thinking of like, 10,000 square feet or more. Mega millions in the bank. Marble floors and bathtubs and things, if you get my drift. They're driving Bentleys and Maseratis, not Subarus. But when you're thirsty and you're desperate, you're willing to go all out, even if it's just 30 G's, if it's 100 racks, you're willing to say, I don't give a damn. I know she got at least 200,000 in the bank. She got 300,000 in the bank. I want it. I want it. I deserve it. It's mine. Is that what we're talking about? Then that would be somebody very close to Nancy Guthrie. You don't need that money, old lady. You owe. You better believe here anyway. Give it to me. Let me have it. Is that what we're talking about? This is her own children wanting her DEAD. Because it's looking like that is where Nancy Guthrie is. No disrespect to the Guthrie family. But I think we already know 6 weeks in, baby girl ain't here. Unless somebody's playing a dirty game. And I thought about that today. Could this be a hoax, Queen? Could this be a hoax for sympathy, empathy? But there's no GoFundMes. Hey, here's a couple dollars. And don't you find that interesting? That's one thing I haven't heard. I ain't heard nobody say, here's a GoFundMe to help you out, Annie, Tommaso. Because ain't nobody going to have a GoFundMe for Savannah because she got paper. But they can make it for Annie and her brother Cameron. They probably don't make as much money as Savannah, 10 million or so a year at NBC or whatever the due deal is. So here's the GoFundMe, get you some lunch and, pay your little light bill, water bill, your car note, Don't you find it interesting? Nobody has brought forward a GoFundMe because you know what people are saying? Hey, the sister got money. I ain't about to give up no damn money. Giving up no damn money. Sister got money. What the hell I look like having a GoFundMe? But see, what some of you don't understand is some of the people you follow on YouTube, they got money already. They have nice salaries, and you send money in to their channels by donation, PayPal, PayPal, Cash App. Come on with it, Queen, because somebody don't hear you out there. Some of these housewives that have YouTube channels, they make good money. They're making damn near $1 million a year on these housewife shows, and you're sending in money to the channel. Pay attention. Oh yeah, I know how to wake the dead. I'm good at that. I'm real good at that. See, I like to show people things that sit right in front of them that they don't want to pay attention to. Now, this sister, Savannah, seemed to be in unison with her sister and her husband. The brother, obviously, he had business to take care of. He was out of the picture when they were, sitting in front of the house with the flowers and the cards and everything. So this is what I'm saying to you. You have to start looking at what's in front of you because usually the truth is right there in front of you. You have to dissect if you're interested. There's a lonely house sitting in Tucson with no inhabitants. And something's going to have to be done about this house at some point. And maybe that was the whole plan. Got my mind kind of twirling right now. Maybe that was the plan all along. The house is sit empty. We'll have to make a decision about this house. We can't just keep letting it sit here because in the end, come on with it, Queen, because somebody got to pay the due bill for Nancy Guthrie's house to just sit there. And who might that be? Who's going to be the cash cow for this $1 million house to pay for security with a subscription, water, gas, lights, taxes, grounds covered? I guess that's the Savannah Guthrie. And she can love her mother all day, but at some point she's going to have to be realistic. How long am I going to pay for this house without my mama living in it? And I think that's when your truth is going to come to fruition. Because somebody might say, well, I don't think mommy's alive. And, it's been a little while. And you're spending all this money trying to take care of this house. Even though it's not a lot of money, but it's still, dollars out of your bank account. Maybe we should just sell it. And they may have to go through courts legally. Naturally, most states have this protocol pertaining to 7 years as proclamation of death. And then you can divide up this, and this. But common sense will tell you houses don't work like that. Depending on if the person is renting, they have a mortgage, there's a due bill. So the due bill has no correlation to the 7-year proclamation of death. Sorry about that, linking out. Your mom, dad, sister, cousin owes a mortgage. The bank wants their money every month. They don't care about what's going on with your loved one. They can empathize for just a little while, but they want their money. So if your sister, brother, mom, dad is missing, somebody's got to pay the bill. Hello, Joanna, thank you. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to make a decision. Now, I would assume Mrs. Guthrie's home is paid for. So it's just a matter of the siblings deciding how long they're going to hold out on an answer pertaining to their mother. This is scary. But I think it's very baffling that we're at 6 weeks and there is no new information pertaining to this lady. All we got is a bunch of hocus pocus. It's almost as if the lady just poof, disappeared. We got some Area 53, 52 type bullshit going on. Come on, Queen. We're already talking about UFOs and this and that. What the hell are we talking about? We got a UFO came in, swooped this lady up, and used a guy with a mask. Let's talk about the perpetrator. Where are you and what are you thinking right now? Catch me if you can. They don't know who I am. They don't know me. Oh, but somebody knows you. Somebody's sleeping with your big-eyed ass and they know it's you. And they just refuse to go to the FBI and say, it's Pablo over here. It's Pablo over here. Because I know you got big doe eyes and short eyelashes and a beard and a mustache, but I got a feeling you've cut all that off. Am I right? Of course you did. Are you scared? If you're a sociopath, you're probably not scared because most sociopaths don't have any fear. Definitely if you're a psychopath, you don't have any fear. It's a game at this point. But you should be scared. Because even if they lock your ass up in a box for life or give you the death penalty, where you going after you pass away, that's where you should really be concerned. Oh yeah, I believe in the Bible. And I heard that a man had went to hell and he just asked for a drop of water while burning in hell. I want you to think about that. So while you're sitting here dancing around thinking you got away with taking this lady about her house, possibly unaliving her, I do believe you will be caught because God don't like ugly. And Nancy Guthrie is a child of God. And you didn't have any right going up in her house. You didn't have any right taking her out of there. The motive really is irrelevant. You didn't have a right to go in her house. Hit the link. The link is in the chat. You want to come up and talk to the Queen and the public and give us your opinion pertaining to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. 6 weeks ago today, a friend or friends called family to say she had not shown up for a church service. Adult Protective Services, once again, what is that about? Because as I said, I don't believe they came because these people called to say she was missing. Was there an investigation? Was there a complaint? Has somebody noticed something irregular with this lady and called? Put it on paper. I think the sheriff might have said it didn't have any bearing. I don't know. I don't really want to hear anything that the sheriff has to say. He's got enough BS going on. He's just a little dirty bird. Let me see what this person had to say. You know, I got to step on social media. I believe somebody said something crazy to Queen on Facebook. Ooh, somebody that talk crazy to Queen. Somebody said, girl, you don't even know the story before you call someone a bum, so shut the F up. Oh, you know Queen getting ready to come back. You know Queen gonna come back. I'm gonna say, look here, heifer. Y'all know I can get real ugly. I said, look here, heifer. Coercion to commit suicide is the definition of a bum. Let me redo that too. Coercion. Coercion in aid. She don't want none of me. She don't know Queen, baby. Best her find her something to do. No perspective. Well, anyway, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what it is. I commented under a Facebook post about this black girl who's arrested here from out of town. Allegedly, she aided a young boy, I think it's a white boy, to kill himself. And people were commenting. So I asked somebody the other day, I said, well, what did she do? And they said she aided him to commit suicide. So I called her a bum. So some black bitch then came back saying, I need to shut the F up. No, I don't need to shut the F up. Obviously, the detectives that did the phone searches and went in the phones and saw the text messages between the two. So obviously they had enough to bring forward an arrest warrant. They took it to the judge, and the judge signed the warrant to arrest her. And we have seen people who do this. People get on social media talking about they don't like their life, they're upset, they want to kill themselves. And you got people who will sit up here and say, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. So you are a bum to tell somebody to kill themselves. You're not supposed to be telling somebody to kill themselves. You should be trying to tell the person, hey, you got life to live. You got a lot of life to live. You don't want to do this. Life is for the living. So this heifer, Ernestine, whoever you are, you don't want another queen, baby. Let me tell you, you don't want none of I. I can say, well, the fuck I want to say. Let me guess, who are you? Her mama, her sister, auntie? Gonna tell me what I don't know. Well, I know she's arrested and she's up the highway in jail. How about that? What you need to do is go take her some milk and cookies. Since you don't think she's done anything wrong, well, go up there to the country jail and put some money on her commissary. That's what you do. I say the hell I want to say. I said it and I meant every damn word. No perspective, hit the link. I haven't talked to you in over a year. The link's at the top of the chat. You want to come up here and talk to the queen about Nancy Guthrie. You want to talk about this Wi-Fi nonsense. What's the Wi-Fi Jimmy? Somebody has some type of device to knock the Wi-Fi out the morning that she was abducted. Has this person committed this type of crime before? Do they have a criminal background, criminal record, sadism, rape? What? Possibly so. You know, you have to throw it all out there because we don't even know who we're dealing with. But like I tell people, you have to deal with the obvious. The person has gone in the house and snatched the person out of there. So it doesn't matter if they snatched a newborn, they snatched a 10-year-old, they snatched a 40-year-old. The person is gone. That's the point. So to me, you're diabolical. You can push somebody's door open and come out their house, whether Nancy left the door open or not. But let's talk about that as well. Nancy Guthrie, was she inviting trouble into her house? I would say yes. After watching the Today Show's commentary. Nancy Guthrie did a show with Today where her blinds were wide open at 5 a.m. in the morning. And as I always say, old habits die hard. People become comfortable. You do it, I do it. I do crazy shit now. Walk down the hallway now, visit the older neighbor today. Left the door unlocked because I was going down to the hall. When I knew better, I know the queen is locked the door. But I've just figured, well, I'm just going to take her a light bulb, come right back, and look for a future video. I will be interviewing her this week. Elderly lady, she's going to talk to us about dating at 77. You should enjoy that live stream. She didn't feel like it tonight. She was kind of tired. So we're going to bring on my neighbor and we're going to just chat it up with her. We're going to do some real life storytelling here on the Vault Excel. But the point is, you get comfortable doing stuff like going to the trash chute. I don't lock the door to go to the trash chute. I just go shimmy down to the elevator, boom, 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 around the corner from the elevator, drop the trash in, come back. But the point is, all it takes is the wrong person to hear your door click open and they walk in your apartment. Although I'm living around some women, to my knowledge, doesn't matter. All it takes is that one time. You thoroughly tackled this from all ways. I have nothing to add, Queen. This is, oh, no perspective. You and I have not talked in almost 2 years. I don't want to hear this nonsense. This is what keeps the continuity flowing on the network, is to have people come up and give their opinion. You all kill me. You all chat, 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 chat. And then don't want to come up and talk and let the people hear you. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I don't want to hear nothing you talking about. I'll probably end up getting a stalker. I probably should block this old crazy ass bitch. You know I can be evil. Sitting here talking crazy to me, telling me to shut the F up. I don't know what's going on. Hell, you don't know what's going on either. What the hell going on? Nobody knows who the person that was there. Well, I know she arrested. How about that? That's enough for me. Yeah, come on up here and talk to the queen. I haven't talked to you in I don't know how long. It's been over a year, 2 years since we've talked. 2, 3 years we haven't talked. I haven't seen your face or nothing. Know how you're doing it, any damn thing. I hadn't heard from you so long when you came in the chat 2 weeks ago. I thought, where the hell he been? I know you had a lot going on in your life. I said, Lord have mercy, where this child been? That's another thing too. I have people who are regulars on the channel that come in and chat, comment, and you'll hear from a while. You know, if I'm not talking to you personally offline, I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know if you alive, you deceased. Hell, you could be a story up here we talking about, and I don't even know it's you because I ain't never seen what some of you look like. But no respect, I've seen you because you came up one time. But some of these other people, I'd have to go on memory from their photos, on the channel. I still got a lot going on. Well, why don't you come up here and talk to the queen? Hell, I said I was gonna start a damn hotline. I was gonna get me a number, and I was gonna have a call-in show. And you call in and ask the queen any question, advice. And I give you the best advice that I can give you. But Lord knows I really don't give nobody no advice. I got my own SHIT. Really, I don't really have anything going on. Let me tell you something. Queen life is really good at this moment. God has blessed the queen. You know what I'm saying? I am really blessed at this moment that I don't have any personal problems except for aches and pains. That is it. Sorry, my phone is blinking in and out. I don't know what's going on. Now, what this girl talking about, some Sebastian Roberts? What is she talking about? Y'all just love getting off the subject. Every time I go live, talk about something. Here they come, talking about something else. Let me see. Something about it. The dish doesn't lie. Yeah, right. People always making up stuff. 6 months ago. I don't see anything. What is she talking about? So what's the update? I don't see anything. What is this about Sebastian Roberts? I don't see nothing. Coming in here, trying to mess with my live stream. I don't see nothing. What's going on, everybody? No perspective. He don't want to come up here and chop it up with the queen. Talking about he still got a lot going on. Well, you want to talk to the queen? Share. Why not share? Share with us. Tell us what's going on, honey. Nobody wants to share. Hold on, everybody. I'm putting this back in here. Oh, I went to the movies last night. Honey, I tried my best not to scream in that movie theater because I didn't want to scare the people sitting next to me. But I ended up bumping into the guy and the female after the movie was over in the elevator. And I said, I didn't want to scream. I said, forgive me if I screamed or jumped during the movie. He said, oh, you were okay. I said, I know I would have showed out had somebody walked in there with one of that damn ghost face mask on. Oh, and they would have been hell up and down. I swear, what you talking about? Hold on a minute, everybody. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting this right here. Okay. StreamYard link is in the chat. The Scream movie was good. It really was. You know, I kind of was disappointed at the end when I saw who the killer was. I was like, oh God, here we go with this bullshit. But I like the thrill of the hunt. You know, the of trying to figure out who it is. Oh man, Nev Campbell, I know you tired of them Scream movies. You got to be tired of this one. Like somebody called me to play a decent part in a movie. Now, I did watch a good movie on TV last night, but I didn't quite understand it at the ending. It was about this guy killing women in the UK. This is really weird, but I'll have to pull that one up. But that Soft and Quiet, oh, please check that out. It's free on Tubi. That's my weekend suggestion. Excuse me, baby, that's worth every minute. Soft and Quiet, free on Tubi. Oh my God, you're going to enjoy it. It's a very good movie. The link is in the chat if you want to come up here and join the Queen, give your opinion pertaining to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. I'm 1 hour and 3 minutes into this live stream. I've tried to chop up everything I can think of pertaining to the disappearance of this woman. I've tried to give you the logistics of the who. What type of person would take this woman? As I said, there are only 3 reasons that a person would abduct a human from his or her home. That is a ransom. Okay? Sexual assault and revenge. Those are the 3 reasons a person would be abducted. Is this a personal vendetta against Nancy Guthrie? Somebody that worked for her, a family member hired somebody, didn't throw that in there, but they hired someone to do the job instead of doing it themselves. They offered them money to pay them. They were part of this ransom nonsense that we were hearing on TMZ, but they were afraid to collect, don't know. Or it was separate. They didn't have anything to do with the abduction of the lady per se. If it was a sexual assault, I don't think it would have anything to do with the abduction, unless they wanted to piggyback off of their crime and say, okay, it's a famous person's mother. Let's try to get some money. What's the truth? You can weigh this 1,000 different ways, but only a few actually. It was her children. One of her children had her abducted. They abducted her, dumped her off, and hoping to get some of her estate, her house, her car, her money. 2, somebody that worked for her, somebody that felt slighted by her, somebody that did deliveries for her. She didn't tip well. They were angry. They were sadists. It's a sadist walking around, looking, lurking, came across her house, thought somebody was in there. Okay, it's a robbery, but we ain't heard that nothing was stolen from her house. Was something stolen from the lady's house or not? We haven't heard anything. And like I said, who goes to a house to commit a robbery with a full book bag, getting out of a car? So you got to remember that. This person didn't just walk up, because if they walked up and used her car to dump her off, they would have taken her car, and her car would have been found somewhere in the city, in the county. Stay woke, I'm woke. They came prepared in a vehicle with a full book bag on their back. Who the fuck does this? Go to somebody's house to kidnap them or to rob their house. They're coming with a full bag. Think about that for a second. You're coming to rob a person's house and you're coming in a car with a full bag. Make it make sense? There's no public transportation. There's no bus running up and down the street. So they like the person decide to catch the bus, get off at the nearest stop, and walk up to her house with a full damn duffel bag and go in her house and kidnap her. Well, how the hell they get her out of there without using her car? They didn't have a car. See, this is where you have to pay attention to who the suspect is, the demographics. They had to use the car to get rid of the lady, to get her off the property, out of the house. They had to have a car. So you got out of the car with a full backpack. Make it make sense? This ain't no robbery. This is personal. Somebody wanted this lady gone. And I think a lot of people need to accept that, because that's how it looks. You got out of a car with a full backpack, breaking into somebody's house. That means you had a personal vendetta against this lady or somebody related to Nancy Guthrie. I've never heard of such. I never heard of such in my life. Somebody going to somebody's house with a full fucking bag. And then somebody can say, oh, well, Queen, maybe he just stuffed stuff in there. It didn't have no meaning, whatever he put in the bag. Still, it don't make no sense. You trying to go rob somebody's house, or what the fuck reason you going in their house? What you need a bag for? A backpack. I'm woke. I'm all the way woke. Hit the link. You want to give your opinion pertaining to the disappearance of Mrs. Guthrie. Give me the who, give me the why, and tell me where she is. If she is unalive, where can she be located? Is there anything left of her to be retrieved? That's another situation. If this lady is deceased and discarded in the desert, dump site, wherever, what's left of her to retrieve, to get DNA, to even verify it is Mrs. Guthrie? This is a terrible situation. A terrible, terrible situation. And it just shows you, you don't know people. Because as I have said, true crime is built on a lot of cases that it is familiarity. The victim knows the perpetrator, vice versa. I listened to a story last night, and I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm getting ready to tell you, because it falls in lines of the lady missing out in California where the handyman unalived her. This story is similar. A Black lady who was a school teacher in Jacksonville, Florida, was a very well-known school teacher, liked by her students and staff members. She even kept in contact with former students. There was a case, there was a situation, where she was not answering her phone. A friend had came over to the house and found her lying in the floor. Investigation led to a young Black male who claimed he had her car, but he got it from another guy. You would wonder if that guy really existed. Oh, the guy did exist. They interrogate that guy, and the guy said, oh, he must have been high on something. I don't even know this lady. I don't have her car. I didn't have her car. I did go to the hotel room where he was staying with he and his girlfriend or whatever, baby mama. But I have nothing to do with this lady being deceased. So, you weigh everything. But everything pointed to this so-called young man who had the blue Camry. One minute you're saying you knew the house when they showed you the pictures, but you didn't know her car. How could you not know her car if you know the lady and you know her house? because they go hand in hand, the house and the car. Long story short, you got him walking in and out, walking about the interrogation room, talking to himself, praying to God, God bless me, get me out of the situation, when he is the one who unalived this lady. He killed a white woman. He was allegedly pimping her out. They had a disagreement. He allegedly told this other guy that in jail that she crossed him. He killed her. He had her black Corvette. And he and the girlfriend driving around in this Corvette, had it parked at the hotel alongside the damn blue Camry they stole from the school teacher. So we now have two dead women's cars parked at a hotel. Come on with it, Queen. He went to the school teacher to confess about killing the white lady. And the black lady ends up dead. Hello, Sonny. What did he think the school teacher was going to tell him? Oh, you killed a white woman. Oh, okay. Well, talk to you later. Come back another day. She told him allegedly to go do the right thing. What did he think she was going to tell him? So what? You get mad at the school teacher because she didn't tell you to pray about it? So you strangle her with a cord and stole belongings from her house. Belongings were in her car and TVs found in his mom and stepfather's garage, which police went there and retrieved those said stolen TVs. And he also asked that so-called friend who he implicated as the suspect to help him knock off the televisions. So police realized the friend who he was trying to say he bought the car from, he had no knowledge of the car, didn't steal the car, didn't know nothing about the school teacher, hadn't even been to the school teacher's house. See, when you watch the videos of this law and crime segment of the school teacher dancing around in her class, you kind of grasp a hold of her personality. She seemed like she was a very friendly person. That's what I gathered in watching her dance around. She was a heavy-set black lady at one time. She had lost a little bit of weight. So, she was feeling herself. Seemed like a happy-go-lucky lady, but you got to remember this being too friendly with your students cost her life down the road. She would also pay these kids to do odd jobs around her house. And that's how this guy got tangled up and told the truth. Because one minute he's acting like he didn't know that was her car that he was driving. Then the next minute he implicates himself in saying he was even at her house the day that she went missing. So he was telling the story, but not telling the whole truth. You see, you can't be too friendly with everyone. You can invite trouble into your domain. Offering people rides, place to live, spending the night, giving them money. They now look around, see how you're living. They think you got it going on. You ain't hurting for nothing. Now their mind is twirling. I think I can get something from this person. You see, murder has different motives. People murder people for different reasons. Basically, he murdered this school teacher because she didn't give him the answer he wanted as far as him admitting that he murdered this white lady, which makes no fucking sense. What did you want the teacher to say? Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgive you for killing this lady for no reason. Now you go on now. Have a nice day. Because she told him to go to the police. But obviously it was burdening him, allegedly. But it was something about him when I was watching him in the interrogation room. I smelled, oh, dirty dog. The way he was looking at the detectives, the way he was talking, the answers he was giving. I told myself, this ain't nothing but a liar, a manipulator. And maybe he did have a little bit of remorse for killing the white lady, but he's a liar. And how do you go from killing the white lady to now killing the black lady? Make it make sense. Because as we learned, he was combative in school. He had a bad attitude. And after he had a short stint in college, playing college ball, he got, I think they said he got shot or some incident, so he couldn't play ball no more. His life went downhill. He started using drugs. The rest is history. He's a junkie. And the baby mama, you ain't no better. Because you had to know something wasn't right with all these cars popping up at the hotel. You didn't ask, well, whose car is this? Whose Corvette is this? Then the next minute, he's popping up with a blue Camry. You didn't ask whose car that was? See, this is the shit we're talking about. These people who are aiding these killers, and they ain't saying nothing. They ain't running to the police. They ain't going to the sheriff. They ain't going to the FBI to say, hey, he's got a stolen car. He's got another stolen car. Hey, I think he killed somebody. You right there, riding around. And then all he's talking about in the interrogation room is, I can't get arrested. Why you arrested me? Arrested me. All I did was have a stolen car. I ain't done nothing. I ain't killed this lady. And as they kept saying, why is he calling her this lady when he allegedly knew her? Because he's separating himself from the crime. And you see that a lot with parents who murder their children. They refuse to call the child by his or her name. Come on, Woody boy. The boy, the girl, not my baby, my child, little Johnny, little Susie. Always watch the perpetrator when they are describing the victim. That is your first sign if he or she is involved. Detachment. They're detached from the person because they have been detached. That is the purpose of a homicide. They didn't feel anything for him or her. You see this a lot with relationships, parents who unalive with children. There's no attachment. It's shameful. Six weeks ago, friends called into the family members saying Nancy did not show up for a church service. And here we are, a month and a half later, no arrests, no new leads, no nothing pertaining to her disappearance. Just a lot of theories and assumptions to who and why she went missing. All types of fables and stories about cups and book bags and gloves, but not the truth. Sickening. But somebody knows the truth. The perpetrator knows the truth. I won't doubt that the perpetrator has told somebody. And eventually, if he hasn't, he will. He'll get high as a kite or he'll get drunk and he will tell somebody what he did to Nancy Guthrie. And if there are more involved, the walkie-talkie will be the one that gives up the goods. And then the house of cards will follow. Because most people, they've got to tell somebody. Some, I guess, will have to tell somebody. They can't keep the secret. We got to pray that this guy can't keep a secret. Now, he's crafty because he's gotten away with it thus far. Also, if he used some type of jammer, he caused Nancy's Wi-Fi to go off and neighbors as well, because we're hearing reports of people saying they had issues with their Wi-Fi. So did he use some type of gadget to jam her Wi-Fi and her neighbors? And how many people were without Wi-Fi on that block? How far does this jammer work if it's true? Are there others involved? Was there anybody else at that house, outside the house, waiting on this perpetrator while he went inside and kidnapped Nancy Guthrie? Is she alive? Do you believe she is alive? If she is deceased, where are her remains? Is there anything left at the place where her remains are that could identify her, even give a manner of death? And will this case be solved? This month is gradually getting on. We will be at the month of April. Will we still be talking about this case April 1st. It will be ashamed if we are. Because right now, everybody's regurgitating the same information, the who, the why. And there's something up with these cameras and photo stills and not getting the gist of movement and full video footage. This is bad, but this is a lesson learned of what I've been saying, and I bring you these certain scenarios that you need to get adequate security at your house. You need to get sensors on your doors and your windows. So if a person is trying to jimmy a window, a door, an alarm will sound because a camera is null and void if there is no alarm. You need to be leery of the company you keep and what you're telling people about what you got going on, what you're doing. If you're involved in illegal activity, if people know that you have money, you have a decent income, you need to be careful. Just keeping it real. Going and coming in and out of your house, your building, your shed, your shack. What you're telling people, what you're posting about your life, where you live, your job, occupation. You got your tax return, you hit the lottery, whatever. You went to the casino. You might want to keep some of those things to yourself. And you don't need to be telling people you live alone. Sometimes you speak and you're not thinking when you're speaking as a woman. Well, I'm single and I live by myself and da da da. Well, you don't know who's talking and you don't know who's ear hustling. And you don't need to be telling people that you're single and you live alone. You don't need to be telling people you live alone and you don't have family nearby or in the town or city that you live in. Now you're sending the message to strangers that you are by yourself and there's no cavalry that's going to come save you in a worst case scenario. And that's why we keep talking about this camera business. The camera is only good for after the attack, attempt, the crime. You need something to ward the criminal off from trying to enter your house. You need an alarm to sound. I think about all the people I've met in my lifetime, all the people I've dealt with in small town America, here in Knoxville and outside of Knoxville. And I don't believe that a lot of these people had alarms on their house, nor did they have security cameras. You just assumed you lived in a nice neighborhood, decent neighborhood where nobody would try to break in your house. The only people houses that got broken into were people that sold dope. Just keeping it real. People who sold drugs. Those were the houses that people would rob. But you can't take for granted that nobody would try to break into your house because you think you know the people in the hood, in the neighborhood. You live in a nice area. You have got to get that out of your head. Hiring people to do odd jobs, paint, cut the grass, do electrical plumbing in your house. Do you really know that person? Even word of mouth does not mean the person would not try to harm you sexually and or rob you. Homeowners especially need to be aware because you have more ground to cover and ways for a person to try to enter your house than an apartment. And if a person knows you live alone, you are ripe for the taking. This is why you have to be careful, as I keep saying, posting and telling your business when you're in public. I'm by myself, I live alone, da 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 da. I don't care if you're getting your car worked on, where you are, because you don't know who you're talking to, and you don't know who's listening, and you don't know the information that they're going to pass to somebody else. You can be talking to a person that you think's a really nice young lady, but you don't know who she fuck with. You don't know the company she keeps. She might be fucking with some gangbangers, some street thugs. And she passes the word, oh yeah, I met this old lady. She's real nice. She got a nice home. She lives by herself. Blah, 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 blah. Now, party time. We live in a scary world. And the point is, we as people are just very trusting. You just don't know people. You don't know people. So I just want everybody to be aware of the faculties, your surroundings, your comings and goings, who you talk to, what you share with people on social media, what you share with people in public, telling people your personal business, where you're going, your income, what type of money you make, what type of car you drive, how much money you have in the bank, your hourly wage, if you're on salary. You might want to keep some of those things to yourself because maybe to you it doesn't seem very important. Maybe you think you're just a regular Joe, regular Sue. Nobody will be concerned. You don't know what would concern a person. What would make you a target? People have been known to rob, assault people who didn't have a damn pot to piss in. Excuse my language. Because that's what you need to understand. A sadist does not care what your worth is, how much money you have. If he wants to sexually assault you, you don't have to have a dime because it ain't about the money. And I think a lot of us need to remember this case pertaining to Nancy could be about a sexual assault. It wasn't about her wealth. It wasn't about the neighborhood. It wasn't about Savannah Guthrie. It was about violating an elderly lady. See, we don't even know who the perpetrator is to say who and why. And I don't want to hear anything from Mr. Nanos because he's not somebody I want to get any information from because he's up, down, up, down. You don't even know what's the truth pertaining to the investigation. And all this rickety rackety SHIT about these cameras working on, off, thumbnails, no real video footage. I don't know what to think. I don't even know if the people they said were at her house days before she went missing, if that means cars going by or people that were actually on the property. I don't even know what they're talking about. Because nothing ever makes any sense pertaining to this lady. It is a very weird case. It's probably one of the most weirdest cases I've ever talked about since I've been a YouTuber. Nothing adds up to nothing. Nothing means nothing because nothing makes any damn sense. Maybe it'll make sense when we get an arrest. It'll fall into place, and then maybe it won't. But I don't know what happened to this lady. I don't know the person. I don't know the motive. I just know they didn't have any right going in her house because there's no logical reason to assault a 84-year-old and kidnap her out of her home and God forbid unalive her. There's no logical reason because any ill will you had for Nancy or her family members, you could have turned it over and let it go. That's what we're supposed to do is let it go. If this is personal, family, shame on you. Because you got to sleep at night knowing you harmed your own mother, relative, for obviously money. And let's say that is what happened to Nancy Guthrie. What goes around comes around. You should know something terrible will probably happen to you. You can't think the universe is going to let you ride off of having an 84-year-old elderly person assaulted and unalived. You'll probably reaping now. And I used to always tell people that just because you can't see the person reaping doesn't mean they're not. Because a lot of times we want people to pay, right? I want him to pay for what he did. I want her to pay for what he did, what she did, what she said. How do you know they're not paying? I would hope that whoever did this, they are paying right now. They are suffering in silence. They want to scream it out to the rooftop what they've done to this lady, but they can't for the fear of being arrested, the fear of dying in a prison cell. But you should know God ain't gonna let this slide. There has to be retribution. And he's gonna handle this. He's gonna make sure that there will be justice for this lady. And I pray that this person has not assaulted anyone else, because that is what a lot of you need to think about. And that's what the sheriff should have said day one. Please lock your doors, your windows. Please get your security system, Nest cameras, and alarms on your home. We have no idea who did this, but we want the community to be safe. That's what should have been said to the public. Arm yourself if you can be a legal carrier. Take classes to make sure you can aim and shoot. Make sure to keep your weapon locked up. But then the flip side of that is, if you're asleep and they break in your house some type of way, it's not going to really matter now, is it? Having a weapon. Somehow they can trip the alarm. Doesn't really matter. If you're elderly, please get your life alert. So at least it's on your neck. Somebody accosts you in your bed. You could possibly push the button on the necklace and get aid to your home. But you've got to keep all your doors locked, your windows locked. And this is the season for wanting fresh air, airing your house out, your apartment out. But you have to know that that's an actual window of opportunity for someone to crawl in and get into your home. Back doors, screen doors, French doors, opening, closing, sitting outside, going in and out, not locking them as soon as you come back in. That's a window of opportunity. Front door as well. Glass sliders as well. You're going to have to start locking the doors after each entry. I know it's jacked up, especially if you're out at your own house, you're in your own house, you're trying to enjoy yourself, you're having a barbecue, or you're sitting out reading a book, you're lying out by the pool, you're not thinking, okay, I'm gonna go in and give me another glass of lemonade, soda pop. I gotta lock the glass door, the French door. But this is the world that we live in. You literally are walking on pins and needles. It's a sad thing to say. And I know that most people are not going to do this. You're at your own home. You're going and coming from your backyard. You are not getting ready to lock the door as soon as you go in to talk on the phone or get a piece of pie or something. You're just not going to do it. Who would do it? Well, I'm just going in for a minute to the refrigerator or going to use the bathroom. I'm going right back out. I'm going to lock the door. But we live in a world where you don't know who's watching. And they're waiting on that opportunity that you would leave your backyard patio to go back in and don't lock your door. So then they'll walk on in and they'll be in your house and you won't even have any idea that they're in there. This is not to frighten you. It is just to keep you aware that that is what the crook is looking for. The crook and the sadist, He, she are looking for that window of opportunity where you are caught slipping, not locking your door, your window, leaving it up, forgetting to put it down, the window, not locking your car door, not locking the garage, leaving the garage door up. Please stop doing that. Please lock the door to the garage. Don't assume because the garage door is down, you can leave the door unlocked. No, no, and no. Front door as well. And also teach your children to lock the doors behind them. Don't open the door for anyone, whether it's somebody that they think they know well. Hey, no, my mom and dad said I can't open the door. Or better yet, you tell them they don't answer, period. Somebody's knocking at the door. Oh, well, don't answer. Because that's a recipe for disaster as well, leaving children alone. And in this state, we really don't have any stiff laws pertaining to an age limit of leaving children alone. So you could leave your children alone, go to the grocery store, or go out for the night. Now somebody knows that your kids are alone. This is their opportunity to try to come in the house with your kids there. And children are apt to open doors, especially for people that they know of. I was listening to some content pertaining to, I think, a child disappearing. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to check out of here. It was it was in New York City, a boy and a girl outside a housing development playing. And they were very young, like 6 years old. Please don't leave your children outside to play. 6 years old is too young to be unattended, especially in fucking New York City. Are you serious? There is no way I'm getting ready to let a 6-year-old child walk out of my house to play outside in a fucking project. This baffled me. This was probably what, 2018? It's not even safe for 8-year-old to be outside playing. In a major city, but we've learned it doesn't matter if it's Utah, Idaho, Tennessee, New York, Philadelphia, creepy crawlers are everywhere. So you're assuming you live in a small area, rural area, you can let your little 3-year-old, 4-year-old run around in the grass, walk up and down the street, ride on tricycles. Nothing bad's going to happen to him or her. You are crazy as hell if you believe that. This world is filled with sadists, sexual offenders. You cannot let your children roam about up and down the streets, going to the corner store, running around the fucking neighborhood like they're adults. They're not adults. But I was just sitting here trying to just grasp a hold of what these people were saying in this Law and Crime episode of these 2 little kids playing outside in New York City unattended and getting in the elevator to only be stabbed by this fucking monster. And the little boy, he died, and the little girl lived. And it took about, 4 years or so for it to go to trial. The little girl had to testify. It was just baffling to me to think of kids this young going outside playing and nobody is watching it. No security cameras either. This is even more stupid. A housing development with no security cameras outside, in the building, in the hallways. What the fuck? So you got a chance to be robbed, assaulted, whether you're a child or an adult, living in the housing developments with no fucking security cameras. So how are you going to fight crime and drug trafficking and different things with no damn cameras? But then they finally upgraded after the crime happened. Day late, dollar short. 6-year-old has no business walking alone through a building, pushing elevator buttons, walking out in front of thugs and bums, playing outside. I want you to think about that. Now, flip it. You're in small town USA, and you think it's okay. Oh, well, we're in Tennessee, Arkansas. It's no big deal. We're all friends around here. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to my baby. Think again. 6-year-olds don't have no business playing outside, running around an apartment building, public housing development, apartment complex, suburbs, or in a small town. Because that is what the perpetrator is looking for. That one window of opportunity where he or she can snatch your child up, lure your child into their house, their car, and you never see your child again. If you have a wandering child, you need to stay outside with your child because children do wander because they are curious. That is by design. But curiosity can lead your child into the abyss. You have to watch your children play. Sorry, it is what it is. You cannot let your children go to other people's houses unattended because you don't know the people well. You don't know what they got going on. You can't go to parks, not watching them unattended. Turn your back, reading a book, looking at your phone. You cannot let them go to public restrooms by themselves in stores, parks. You have to be with your kid. No public venues, no functions, nothing. Small children have no business walking anywhere alone. To the store, shopping, public restrooms. No, no, no. And as you can see, it doesn't matter if they're 14, 15. 15-year-old girl, 14-year-old girl cannot fight off no damn demon. I thought about that last night at the movie theater. Going to watch this crazy ass movie. When I go into the restroom, first thing I thought of walking in was just like in the second screen. All it takes is for some guy go in the bathroom, sit on the toilet like he's using the bathroom. And if you're not looking under the stall to see men's shoes, you're just gladly walking in there to use the bathroom. You don't even know there's a guy sitting on the commode or standing in the restroom. Well, you should know Queen is woke. I walked in, and before I started pushing open doors, I looked underneath the stalls to see if I saw anybody's shoe look like a man's shoe. Hell yeah. I'm listening for conversations. I'm listening to see who door open as soon as mine closed. I don't play. Because it's an open situation with those bathrooms where you just turn a corner, it's open. So a person will just walk in there and you know what I'm saying? There's no really security. There might be cameras in there in the open spaces, but somebody's got to be watching to make sure, oh, where's this guy going? Where's this guy going? Where's this gal going? You don't know people. And the fact that I'm going to see a scary movie, I didn't trust nobody going in the theater, going even in the parking garage to get to the damn theater. Because there might be somebody out there wanting to play some funny games, want to walk around with a long black coat on and a ghost face mask. And like I told the guy and the girl after the movie, I said, anybody walk in this damn theater with that damn ghost face mask on and sit beside me, I'm out of here. Because I don't even think you should let people come dressed up in garb in theaters. You know, like when they had the Batman movies and all of that. You should not let people come dressed up in costume. I think it's a bad idea. Luckily, nobody in the theater had a ghost face mask on. But you see where I'm going. I wouldn't want to be in the theater with you dressed up like that. And even going in the bathroom, I was leery going in the restroom because there's nobody standing out there watching the restroom. Anybody just walk around the wall. It's an open bathroom. You just walk around the wall and you're in the women's bathroom. You're not going into, you know what I mean, a door. And a lot of bathrooms are made like that now in public spaces. And once you're in there and you're alone, the guy jumps out, crawls under the stall. You got to pray that somebody's going to see you wrestling it under the stall and go get security. And I can tell you, I didn't see one security officer when I went to the bathroom, came out, sat in the recliner until the movie started. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't see one security person walking around in a uniform while I was in that theater. All I saw were people waiting on the people in the theater, bringing them their food, popcorn, and drinks. But while I was on the floor, where the video games and the sitting areas were, I didn't see any security. And it's not to say somebody wasn't watching, looking at some cameras, but the point is there was nobody walking about. And that's the best way to push down crime is to have somebody visible, because you always have to remember that is what the perpetrator is also looking for. As I keep saying, that window of opportunity. He doesn't see anybody walking around in a uniform. She doesn't see anybody. Now they can say, oh, here's my opportunity to steal a purse, steal a bag, follow somebody in the bathroom, hit over the head, steal their purse, sexually assault them. You got to think like how the perpetrator thinks, because you got to remember there are people who are actually going into these public places to assault you, to rob you. They're going into these venues to hurt you. You're thinking they're coming into the picture show to watch a movie. No, they're not. Somebody may have actually went to the picture show to try to rob somebody or hurt them. Okay, this crazy bitch then responded again. I think, let me see. Hold on, everybody. I thought I got a notification. Oh, that was at 11. I was gonna say, but this happened and came back responding again. That's my commentary, everybody. Let me see who this lady is. Oh, she lives in Knoxville, Tennessee. Oh, she's friends with some of my friends on Facebook. Well, I know exactly what to do with her. I'm gonna block her crazy ass. How about that? She's from Monroeville, Alabama, 1972. Oh, she's a year younger than Queen. Crazy witch. Oh, everybody. Trying to figure out something. There we go. I had to go into them little dots to block this heifer. She shared some friends I share on Facebook. And now I won't have to cuss this heifer out again. I'm going to check out of here, everybody. I hope the information I brought to you was useful and helpful. Once again, as I said, I do not know who kidnap Nancy, don't know the motive, don't know where Nancy is. I'm assuming she's not alive at this juncture, but I don't have any personal information. And once again, I do not believe in stalking the house, Annie's house. What's the point? It's a month and a half into this crazy story, and following these people around and harassing them and standing outside of their house. You all need to stop. I do not condone that type of behavior. I've never condoned it. I don't care who it is, because this story is late in the game. This is not a story that just broke yesterday and you want to, stand outside the house and film the news people. It's old. The news people have moved on, and you bloggers or whoever you are, TikTokers or just bored ass people, you need to find something to do. I don't condone this type of behavior because this is how people get hurt. Tommaso has come out asking the person, why are you out there? Basically, he's letting you know, I'm watching you stand out here. You need to get on before your ass gets arrested. Just leave the people alone. You're not going to learn anything by them standing out there watching their house. You're just not going to learn anything. They can't be doing nothing but coming and going, moving stuff in or moving stuff out. But stalking these people and bothering them, all you're going to do is end up getting a charge. And the judge isn't going to care about you being a YouTuber or a TikToker. He or she's not going to care, because the person they're going to say is, well, you don't have any proof that these people did anything. You don't know them. You don't have any right to be standing outside, watching them, bothering them, parking on the side of the road, standing out in front of other people, neighbors' homes. They don't feel comfortable with you in the neighborhood. They don't know you, don't know anything about you. They don't know what you got up your sleeve. That's what the judge is going to tell you. You need to get the hell on. And my thing is, if these people are involved in getting this lady gone permanently, what makes you think they wouldn't do anything to you? Because if they hired somebody to get rid of Nancy, they could easily rehire that person to follow your dumb ass back to your hotel room and knock your ass off. I always tell people, some of you people don't think. You think this is a game, making YouTube videos and TikTok videos for likes and views. You need to really know what you're doing out here and who you're dealing with. Because I'm going to say this because everybody needs to hear this. This is a dangerous game, going out filming anything to post to social media. I'm just going to say it. I've done it before, but it's dangerous because you don't know who's watching. And I remember that when a young guy was found dead in an alley in East Knoxville, and I went over there to the housing development to film the alley, and I was asking this lady, I was asking a kid something, and his mother saw me talking to her son, and she came over, and I could tell she was leery and wanting to give information. The little boy was talking, but the mother looked scared, like she didn't want to tell anything and she didn't want her kid talking. And I understand why, because she has to live there. I don't. And if indeed somebody in that apartment complex killed that guy and dumped him over there near the trash cans, they could hurt her kid. And see, that's the thing that a lot of people don't think about when they're going to the scenes of a crime and they're asking neighbors and banging on neighbors' doors and banging on apartment complex doors. You don't know who's involved in the crime. And these people have to have a place to live. You don't live there. And a lot of people just don't want to be involved. That's just the way it is. Now, my understanding, this was drug related. I talked to two different people, a guy across the street and a guy around the block. He was saying it was drug related. The guy stole something, and some people came that were hanging in the other projects up the street, and they killed him up there, and they brought him down to that location near the alley and dumped him off. Could be true, could not. But I haven't heard anything about that story. That's a couple years old. What happened to him and who murdered him? But allegedly it was drug related, because the other guy I talked to across the street, he was saying that there was a dope house down that alley, and that people were going to that certain house, to buy dope. And then the guy around the corner, he was saying it was some other people up the street that could have that did it, and they dumped them down there. But the weird thing is, each person's version mentioned drugs. That's the point. Possibly drug related. So this is the reason why people don't want to talk, Steve, and give information, because they know they give any information about what they saw, what they heard, they have to later go to court and testify. And they've got to go right back to that apartment house and live in the hood. We don't. And that's what people need to understand when they want to stand out with a camera, whether it be the news or be a blogger. You don't live there. You don't know what's going on. And what you always have to remember, if a person didn't have any problem dumping a person out in an alley, they wouldn't have a problem doing you the same way. And they would do the same to a person who they thought taught and gave up their name. So this is why I say people need to be very careful out here on people's personal property and near their property filming, because you don't really know what's going on. You think it's cute just standing out there like you're giving us the tea about a house where nobody's living in. Nobody's in Nancy's house, and from my understanding, nobody was staying in Annie and Tommaso's house. I'm assuming they're back at their house now, Annie and Tommaso. But the point is, at one point, nobody was in any of the houses. So you're just standing out there filming a house, two houses that are empty. For what? Just saying. Gotta be careful. What's the old saying? Beware of the messenger. The bone collector. And I think a lot of people on YouTube need to think about that as well. Do you really want to be the bone collector? Because it'll be a shame that you end up becoming a YouTube story yourself. Because let me tell you something, and I know this from living 55 years, there is always somebody watching. And they watch the news, they watch podcasts, they watch social media, they watch and they listen. And you would not want to look up one day and have somebody paying you a visit over something you said in a podcast or a video you made. I'm just saying. Because we all take that risk in sitting up here talking about true crime or any subject matter, and no different than you all in the chat using your government names, which I've told many of you all to stop doing that. You have stupid people who are crazy. They will follow you back to Facebook, IG, and stalk you and dox you, take your picture, put it on a profile, and pretend to be you chatting in chats. You need to be very careful, because we have a lot of miserable people out here who have nothing to do, and all they do is stay on social media all day long, commenting, stirring up trouble, arguing with people. And let me tell you, all it takes is for them to get a hold, as I just said, get a hold of your Facebook account, start talking to people. God forbid they see some of your friends. The next thing you know, boom, they start getting in their inboxes. Hey, you know this person, you know this lady, she said this on Facebook. I didn't like what she said. You know where she is, you know where she lives. And then, God forbid, one of these so-called people you think is your friend, they start telling them personal stuff. Oh yeah, she lives over here, she works over here. You don't know. You don't know what people do until. And I've said this about all these people speaking about Nancy Guthrie in the neighborhood. Some of you probably should not have filmed commentary with Brian Enton, because there is a possible murder on the loose. And you're sitting here with your bathroom shades wide up, facing the street, talking about a person walking by with a baseball cap on or whatever, looking strange. Well, guess what? He now knows where you live because it won't be hard to find your house with those big bay windows facing the street. And he also knows what you look like. You're a blonde-haired white woman. Nobody thinks. The white guy that lives behind Nancy Guthrie. You should have never showed yourself. And I don't think maybe you should have gotten on that podcast, Surviving the Survivors. Nobody's thinking. Because what they're saying to themselves, I don't know what these people know. I don't know if maybe they've seen me in the neighborhood lurking about. And maybe they decide they may want to pay you a visit. And then now, next, we'll be talking about you missing. Oh, did you hear Nancy Guthrie's neighbor's missing? Oh, which one? The one that was talking to Brian Eden. I'm just saying. This person is watching. They may have also been back to the neighborhood looking and lurking in the late hours when they think everybody's going home, going to bed. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app. Follow me here on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for the new subscribers on the Newsbreak app. Over 1,900 plus followers over there. Thank you so very much. Follow me on IG, big.sexy.71. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie. 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats always welcome to the live stream. God bless all of you. Prayers for Nancy Guthrie and her family. Praying for answers and the truth to what happened to her. May there be justice in this case. And I pray that whoever this person is, or if there are more, that they do not harm anyone else. No more home invasions, no more kidnappings, and God forbid, no more murders. Because this is a very sad and tragic case. Please look after your friends and your neighbors. Check on the people. Check on your friends and your family. Look after the elderly. And definitely look after the children. And know that no one is exempt from being a true crime casualty. We're all human. That's my commentary. You all have a wonderful week. God bless all of you. Check out Soft and Quiet, now playing free on the Tubi app. Very good movie. Very good movie. Check it out. Come back and let me know what you think of it on my community page under the trailer that's on my channel. And if you like scary movies, check out Scream 7, playing at a theater near you. It was pretty good, pretty good. I just didn't like how much money I paid to see it. But anyway, it was pretty good. Thank you all so much for your time. You have been listening to the Vault XL